Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. So on this video I decided to dive into the Gilded Flakes world. I've noticed lately there's been a lot of videos with everyone using the like heat and stick, some called it bonding embossing powder. There's a lot of different kinds out there, so I was like, you know what, I want to try it. I don't think it matters if you have the thin outline stamps or if you have more of a solid stamp. The method should be the same with whatever it is. I will say that we're going to go through the steps just like we do a regular embossing. Treat the paper with the static powder, with the powder. Then you stamp with your Versamark. And then instead of doing like your regular gold or clear or white embossing powder, there's a special embossing powder that gets sticky when you heat it up. It's what allows you to use glitter to stick to your projects. It's there's so many different companies, but I think in the boutique we actually have the Ranger, and I want to say it's called bonding embossing powder, but I'll make sure to have the link down below. You heat it up. I tilt it to the side so that way I can see it melt. That way I don't overheat it. Now, one of the lessons that I did learn in making this video was if you have old products, after a while they may not work properly and you may not want to use them in a video that you're trying to show a technique. That was the first lesson, because as I put the Gilded Flakes down, I noticed that it's sticking in some places and in others not so much. So the particular like sticky powder that I used, that's just from my stash, it was old and it wasn't working. So it's been a long time since I've used it, and I probably got it from somebody else, so it was just old. So that is now in the garbage can. And luckily I had another one, same product, that was a little bit newer, and so it works better, and you'll see in a bit, because I'm going to go to another image to see if I can get a better coverage on it. But how the Gilded Flakes work is, once you put it into the sticky areas, you need to get a stencil brush, excuse me, or one of those brushes with like a coarse, more stiff bristles on it. And what you're doing is you're just trying to remove the extra flakes so that all you have left is what's connecting to the sticky, okay? And then when you need to clean up, if you're using it, you can see here how some areas you can see it really connected or stuck well, and then other spots it wasn't. What you use to clean up your space with, though, is you can either use Swiffer cloths, or I used some dryer sheets that I had in my container next to me, and it picked it up as well. You just need something that's going to collect all the dust and everything. Now, my idea here was that I would stamp my leaf, and then this piece that goes on top that sort of does like a stamped background underneath, I would use the Gilded. Well, hindsight being 2020, and if I thought about it a little bit harder, I probably wouldn't have done this stamp because it wound up, once I did the Gilded Flakes, you're not going to be able to see the outline of the stamp. And I realize now that that was probably just a tad bit crazy to think that I would be able to see it through the gold. But what it did teach me was that my other jar of powder was in better shape because it stuck really well. And I realized once I had cleaned it all off with my stencil brush that in fact, yeah, this wasn't the right stamp to do this with. Even though I like the technique and what it did at the end. It might be something, I'm not exactly sure what I could do, because the dye that goes with this one does the outline. It doesn't create those little, all that detail. so it wouldn't work with like doing a cutout and then putting it on top, which would be so cool. But it's an idea. I'm gonna figure this one out. It'll probably take me a little bit, but it was an interesting thought at the time. And then I was like, oh wait, let me stamp it back on top. Well, that idea would work if you could actually line it back up, which I didn't line it back up. But that's when I noticed that you weren't going to be able to see it through the Gilded Flakes. So the main thought was, well, let's just start over yet again. So now you see why this particular video is almost 10 minutes long, because I had to show you all the ups and downs that I went through with this. I don't know how these ladies do it. I don't know if they have like mess up videos or what happened, but let me tell you, I see them do these things and I'm like, yeah, I want to do it. And then it takes me like 20 tries to get it even remotely presentable to you guys. And I was tempted to just show this part here and make it look like, oh yeah, I got this down packed. But I just had to show you what I went through to get to this one card. It's so funny to me. Okay, so now this time I decided, let's be smart, T. So I put it on top of scratch paper and I'm rubbing in the Gilded Flakes all over the image, okay? And then the copy paper, this is just regular copy paper, will catch all the loose Gilded Flakes, and it'll, you know, easy to put it right back into the container. And then with what's left, I'm just going to use my same brush and just kind of like, what I try to do is kind of pounce on it, so that way anything that's extra, you know, it'll clear it out, and that way you're left with the detail, because that's what you're trying to get, is just so that it sticks to the spots where it needs to. And then I just rub over the entire project. I used, once again, the dryer sheet. You can use the Swiffer sheet on that too, and that just helps clean off all the extra dust. And then this time I just threw out that piece of copy paper. I don't need to keep it, and I'm just going to clean off the work surface. And then I have a piece of paper from my stash that I'm going to cut to create this striped edge, and it has like this pink tone to it. It goes really well with this particular color collection on the Gilded Flakes. And I'm just going to attach those two pieces. Now in the boutique, the Scrapbooking with Me boutique, we have added the Nuvo Gilding Flakes, and they have them in gold, silver, and bronze, I believe. And then in that same album, we have the Bond embossing powder from Ranger. So you have pretty much all you need to be able to use these flakes and the sticky embossing powder to create similar cards with your you know, stamp sets that you guys have in your stash. You can also use double-sided tape to lay down the gilding flakes. You can also use like, what is that called? The tacky glue. You know, anything glue that stays tacky after it dries, you can use it on that. So you have a lot of different options to use these particular flakes with. So I then decide that I'm going to cut out a punch for my sentiment, and I was just laying it on the stamp sets trying to figure out what was going to fit. I wound up grabbing With Love and mounting that particular punch on like Pop Dots foam tape, and to give it a little bit of dimension. But look at all that detail in the gilding flakes and the shine. It really does leave a subtle, I don't even want to say it's better than just doing straight embossing. That's definitely, obviously, it would be easier. You just heat it up and you're done. But some of the Gilded Flakes that they have out there, like this one with the multicolor, you can really create some beautiful fall cards with this. Okay, so thank you guys for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. We will have links here to previous Technique Tuesday videos, and if you haven't subscribed yet, just click on my photo and you'll be subscribed to the channel. Thank you guys, and have a great day.